folks, Dude here. Today's video is about flashlights. Now, I'm going to go through roughly pretty much standard stuff. Let me turn this one off. This is my standard bed buddy, and you can see it's a 1 LED unit. I've replicated something pretty cool with the better stuff, with simply replacing parts that you can buy at like Bass Pro or Cabela's or any of those other guys. They've got kits. I think the kit is Night Eyes or somebody along those lines. I'll put the information down here when I remember it or when I look it up. Okay, there is retrofits you can get for mag lights. Mag lights are okay. They work fairly good. You can get them from AAA all the way up to big honking D-cell mugs, and like the angle head, you can put a couple in there. You can get like the big flipping nightstick varieties. They weigh a lot. I mean, these guys are, well, okay, these are double A's. Notice, camo. Okay, so basically these are double A's. Their sizes realm the range of, well, not too big to a lot bigger. I'll tell you what, I'll keep these guys as a good comparison. You know what a 2 AA mag light looks like. Nothing crazy. Okay. You remember this guy from my LBE video, which is basically just a pentagon. It's pretty cool. It's got a little tail cap that screws off. Just give me there 1 second. Trying to get myself undiscombobulated. It's got a tail cap that screws off, and basically this guy is a 1 AA flashlight. So you got momentary, and you have second press, it stays on. It's a little booger, man. This is a very convenient little guy. It's got a clip. Let me crank up my other light here so you can see what I'm doing. It's got a clip, so it clips on your LBE. It's got a place to tie stuff on. These are good units. They're not cheap. It's like a $30 light, but it's LED. It ain't burning out. Okay, so this guy could stay on there. Okay. Euphemistically, a lot of people know about the big name of Streamlight. I've got a couple Streamlights. This is one of the cooler ones. This is, I think they call it the flip or something. I gotta look it up again. There's a lot of really good human engineering on these things. If you look at these little projections here, these are little plus signs. So you can't help but get the polarity right, even in the dark when you change out your batteries. You know, point side down here, point side up here. It is 4 lights built in there. Let me crank this thing up and see what I'm talking about here. Okay, it's a standard light. It is a blue. It's IR. That's right. You can see IR on a camera. Dirty little secret. Cameras, unless they have a film over them and a filter, pick up IR. That's an IR flashlight. Okay, it's also red. Now, the cool thing about these, let me go back to white. Turn it off. You hold it in. It steps 3 levels of brightness and then back down again. Damn good engineering. Here's the other cool thing. You turn it off. You tap it twice. It blinks. Okay, now, here's the cool thing. You can switch modes. That would be the IR light. That's your red. Cool thing about red is it saves your night vision. You can use this thing at night. You can even accidentally pop somebody in the face with it. And, yeah, it looks white here on this camera, but this thing is dead on red. It's actually closer to, well, that. It's actually looking almost purple on my viewfinder. I don't know what it's going to look like when it actually hits the big screen, but this is actually a red light. Even though it's actually being shown as purple with a white spot in the middle, this thing's red. To the human eye, this is red. Very cool kit. Not cheap. Cruz eBay has a helmet clip that clips onto your Pasget helmet, so you can click in different positions, 8 positions. The head swivels. You can stand it up. It points down. You can click it on your belt so it's shining in front of you. Damn good engineering. I really like this light. I've got 2 of them. I don't know where the other one is. The only difference between the 2 is this one is IR and the other one has a green light for the inset versus the IR. It's intended for flight crews, and the FAA regs say you got to have a green flashlight on the flight deck. For some reason, it doesn't interfere with the instruments. I don't know why they do that, but that's just one of the FAA regs. So this guy will sit here. Okay, so basically you got a couple mag lights, you got the pentagon light, you got the Streamlight, and here's another cool Streamlight. This guy is their helmet light. Now what's really cool about this is you can turn this knob. Of course it's a helmet light, so it clicks onto your Pasget. It's actually got the finger so you can lock it on there. Damn good piece of kit. You can click it on and off the mount. This is the mount. It's actually got another mount. You can click it on your Mully gear. There's a couple of modes of operation. You've got blue lights for looking at some dude and saying, dude, you're bleeding. You got standard white lights. you've got modes of brightness. Damn good engineering. Here's the other cool thing. You won't be able to see this unless you have the correct stuff. That little white blip, I can't see with the human eye. And neither can the guys playing tango and shooting at our boys. This blink is actually calibrated for the guys in the aircraft flying around the battlefield to go, okay, that's one of our dudes, don't zap them. And usually they orient these things so they're facing up. Or they're pointing in some direction that the air crews can see. That's a bunch of our guys. Nobody else can see this because the human eye does not see infrared light. And turn that puppy off. Okay, that's one of the problems. You can't tell when it's on. Okay, so this would be a surefire. I'm sorry, this is a surefire. This is one of the good ones. This is a surefire helmet light. Badass little piece of kit. Got in a group. Don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. I really don't use helmet lights, but it's a nice piece of kit. It's not very heavy, and it works. All right, so innovation has really gone hugely amazing in its progress. When they innovate a new LED, Cree, or somebody along those guys, and they start getting them made up, they get better, and of course the price goes down. Now, these are two Innova Bolts. They call them bolts because they've got hexagonal heads. You put them on a flat surface, they don't roll off. Damn good piece of information to know, because you put it down on a flat surface, your flashlight doesn't roll away like these guys. Alright, now, there's an older one, which would be this one here, and there's a newer one. Let me show you the difference between the two. There's maybe about a year's different production times between these two flashlights. First, the older one. Not too terribly unbright. Okay, here's the newer one. What would you want to field? Amazing, isn't it? Washes out the other one, and you can't really even see it in the beam of the newer one. Amazing how much stuff has progressed. And it looks almost exactly the same. I mean, if you look at the two from face on, this one, the reflector's a little more dimpled, and it's got, it's a little shinier. That's about the only way you can really tell the two. And of course, wear and tear. But damn good units. I really like these. You can pick them on eBay. I got the better one for less than I got the older one. Other way around. Or is it this way? This is the old one, this is the new one. I got this one for more than the new one. Cruz eBay, Innova Bolt, 2 AA's. Or you can get them with 123s, which would be the older one I have. Here's another Innova. And, oh hell, which one is this one? They called this one... Oh, geez, I can't even make it out anymore. It was written on there somewhere. Okay, here's the old tech. Before you saw LED or the reflector, very much like a modern flashlight. Older stuff, 5 LEDs in configuration. And this thing is not dull, mind you. This is not a dull flashlight. This thing actually puts out a fairly good amount of light, but it's really more of a field versus a sharp, tight, cohesive beam. See the difference? This one's kind of lighting an area. This guy's like right in your face. And I think this is the older one. So if you have comparison between this guy and this guy, there is absolutely no comparison between the two. This thing's not bad. Only downside, and the only really major downside with this, is of course it takes the expensive, harder to source. Yeah, that's right, folks. 123 Surefires. I like them. They're good batteries. They're basically Ever-Ready's restamped. Dirty little secret. Well, if I'm going to go with something easy to field, I'm going to find something easy to field that eats normal, easy stuff to find. I'm not going to go with 123s, folks, because you got to cruise a camera store or you got to source them, and the only place you're going to find them easy is in combat, because everybody uses 123s in combat because that's a standard. Well, it's lithium. Lithium holds up very good to extended use. It doesn't mind temperature extremes, and it's perfect for soldiers because it's small. It does what it needs to do, and it takes a licking and keeps on ticking. AA's are available everywhere. AA's are, well, they're a better civilian equivalent, and this is a basic, this is a basic, from top to bottom, nuts and bolts, kind of what you could do with flashlights. These are okay to start out with. Get the better stuff, get your Surefires, get your better flashlights, and move on and move out smartly, because you can't operate in the dark. Get a flashlight. Earners!